everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to dive into a highly ambitious, totally interconnected master plan. We're not just looking at how to save our planet from impending crises, but how to make the future genuinely exciting. By the end of this, you'll see how these seemingly unrelated projects, from underground tunnels all the way to rockets, actually fit together into one massive, unified architecture for humanity. So here's our roadmap for today. We've got 5 main stops: beneath the city, the future of transportation, the clean energy revolution, reaching for the stars, and finally, inspiration for the future. Let's get right into it.
All right, stop number 1, beneath the city.
We're starting below the surface because, let's be honest, soul-crushing traffic is literally destroying our daily lives, right? The Boring Company's fix isn't just another flat, surface-level road. Picture this instead. You pull your car into what looks like a totally normal parking spot, but actually that spot is an elevator skate. It drops you down into this limitless, 3-dimensional underground tunnel network and just rockets you across a jammed city like LA at a crazy 200 kilometers per hour. So that grueling highway commute, it turns into a 5-minute underground sprint. Now, whenever this comes up, people immediately ask, wait, isn't tunneling just way too expensive? And, it's a completely valid question. I mean, a standard subway extension today can easily run you $1 billion a mile. $1 billion. If that's our baseline, how on earth could we ever afford to build a massive, infinite 3D network of tunnels? It would bankrupt pretty much any city on the planet. So the real magic here is the underlying math. To actually make this viable, the cost per mile has to drop by a massive factor of 10. How do they pull that off? First, by just shrinking the tunnel diameter. By swapping out those giant subway trains for single-lane electric skates, the tunnel shrinks to about 3.6 meters, which slashes costs by a factor of 5 right out of the gate. Second, right now, current machines dig a bit and then they completely stop to build the wall. The new game plan? Continuous boring and reinforcing at the exact same time. Bam, you've instantly doubled your speed. And finally, by jacking up the machine's power limits, you gain even more speed. You layer all these engineering tweaks together, and that totally impossible price tag, it drops by over 10 times. And this actually brings us to one of the most brilliantly absurd engineering benchmarks I've ever heard. Currently, a pet snail, let's call him Gary, is actually 14 times faster than a massive multi-million-dollar industrial boring machine. Yeah, a snail. So the ultimate technical goal for this whole tunneling project? Just beat the snail. If they can build a machine that digs faster than Gary can slither, humanity wins. Okay, moving on to section 2, the future of transportation. So moving up to the surface, those tunnels are really just the arteries. The electric, fully autonomous vehicles are the lifeblood. The approach here actively skips LiDAR and instead goes all in on passive camera vision and GPS. Why? Well, think about it. Our entire global road network is already designed for human passive vision. Our eyes. A neural net using cameras can do the exact same thing, just 10 times safer. And this scales all the way from coast-to-coast autonomous travel straight into shared self-driving fleets. That is going to completely disrupt the idea of car ownership, potentially dropping the cost of your commute to less than a standard bus ticket. But hey, disrupting heavy logistics is just as crucial. Take the electric Tesla Semi and compare it to a traditional diesel truck. Because the Semi relies on electric motors, it has this totally flat torque curve. So, while a massive diesel truck is out there choking, sputtering, and fighting through gears on a steep hill, the electric Semi just delivers immense, instant power. It's actually engineered to be so powerful that it could literally tow a diesel truck uphill, all while handling with the kind of crazy nimbleness of a sports car. All right, section 3, the clean energy revolution. Now, obviously, all these electric cars and tunnel skates are going to need vast amounts of power. And if that electricity is just coming from a coal plant, we're really just shifting the pollution around, right? We aren't solving it. So at the micro level, the answer is the solar roof. Instead of slapping ugly panels onto old shingles, these are micro-louvered glass tiles with the solar cells actually embedded inside them. From the street, they look just like a totally normal roof, but from above, they're completely transparent to the sun. And economically, they're designed to cost less than a standard roof plus your lifetime grid electricity bills. Oh, and they come with an infinity warranty, meaning they will literally outlast the house itself. But how do we store all this power on a global scale? Believe it or not, the world doesn't need thousands of random battery plants. To transition the entire planet off fossil fuels, the math shows we need exactly 100 massive diamond-shaped gigafactories. Just 100. By centralizing and hyper-accelerating battery production to the point where you literally need a strobe light just to see the machine parts moving, this super daunting global transition actually becomes a highly quantifiable, achievable target.
Of course, trying to enact this level of global change means you inevitably bump into the political landscape. And regarding the controversy around certain political advisory boards, the source material explicitly points out that this participation was definitely not an endorsement of any specific administration. Rather, the stated goal was purely functional. It was about advocating for climate change and immigration policies, getting into the rooms where those absolutely crucial issues would have otherwise been totally ignored.
Which brings us to Section 4, reaching for the stars. So we've tackled the underground, the surface, and the power grid. Now we break right through the atmosphere. The absolute key technology that makes an interplanetary Mars colony even remotely possible is rapid reusability. I mean, for decades, we've treated rockets basically like single-use plastics. You would never fly a Boeing 747 from New York to London and then just throw the plane away, right? The only way a Mars city becomes economically viable is if these massive orbital rockets can land, refuel, and launch again with the exact same turnaround efficiency as a commercial airline. And the scale required to pull this off is honestly staggering. To really wrap your head around the size of the interplanetary transport system needed to ferry millions of people to Mars, just consider this comparison. The rocket design generates roughly 4 times the thrust of the Saturn V, the rocket that took humanity to the moon. To put that into earthly perspective, that thrust is equivalent to 120 Boeing 747s firing their engines all at the exact same time. It's literally designed to lift a fully loaded 747 directly into orbit like it's just a piece of cargo. No big deal. And finally, Section 5, inspiration for the future. Let's bring this immense technological scale back down to Earth, to the human element. Why all these rockets and tunnels in the first place? Well, we kind of have this dangerous misconception that technology just automatically marches forward on its own. But history actually proves the exact opposite. The ancient Egyptians built the pyramids, and then forgot how. The Romans built these incredible aqueducts and forgot how. In 1969, we put humans on the moon and then completely lost the capability to even send people to low Earth orbit. The natural trajectory of technology actually trends toward entropy. Basically, humanity will forget its greatest achievements unless brilliant minds are actively forcing the boundaries upward. Merely solving terrestrial problems, like fixing traffic or reducing emissions, that is deeply, absolutely crucial work. But it just isn't enough for the human spirit. We genuinely need an inspiring, multi-planetary future that gives us a profound reason to wake up in the morning and actually love what's coming next. We need to be excited to be alive, So based on everything we've unpacked in this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Whether it's zooming below cities and autonomous skates, switching to an abundant solar grid, or looking up at reusable rockets destined for Mars, what is the ambitious future that you want to see built? What is the vision that inspires you to jump out of bed in the morning? Thank you so much for exploring this roadmap of tomorrow with me. Keep learning and keep looking forward.